Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a real treat in store here. I usually say tonight on Sportswire Radio, but it's this afternoon. But it's for good reasons. It's for good reasons because I think we've got one of the most important and interesting stories to tell here for those that are listening and watching here. And I'm going to still say it in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, where these two champions, two of the most important champions right now in the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit, have led to us having this All Wrestling Matters movement. But you know, it's an interesting story because if you've been following what happened at Summer Bash, these two legends had a match that was years in the making. It was a rubber match, but we never thought that that match was going to happen, but yet it happened. Well, in beautiful Bremen, Ohio, and they're going to talk about that. They're also going to talk about what led them to teaming up at Carnage in the Wreck. And no, it certainly wasn't a for unlawful carnal knowledge, to quote one of my favorite Van Halen albums. But we're going to talk about also what led to our XCW International Champions triumphant return to the ring. When you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, really one of the greatest comeback stories in wrestling history. I mean, our guest, where was Remi Ravage all these years? And Remi Ravage is going to talk about that. I mean, ACT found that out firsthand. Some things I can't say on this platform. Some things I can say on this platform, what the champion did. But she's a hell of a talent, and just really so excited to have Remi here for the first time. Remi's going to talk about also some other things that she's seen in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit and where it's changed from what these two were kind of as rejects, quote unquote, in the global backyard wrestling network to the top of the food chain. And how fitting is that? Because Wednesday night here, a man that used to be a host of the global backyard wrestling network is back on Sportswire Radio. And I might have to ask these two individuals about that, because I'm sure that, well, that guy who used to be Rad Hazard is probably going to, well, be a big topic, and I'll probably ask these two about that. And maybe I'll even ask these two, well, I'm not going to ask them to bounce off a trampoline, but I might ask them to maybe bounce off some of their ideas on these, well, trampoliners. These trampoliners that want a trampoline on Shawn Jovi and his cohorts in Wisconsin and Indiana and Wisconsin. I'm not even going to go there about that. I mean, on TikTok, my TikTok's been blowing up on that. Instagram is blowing up, but it's a real treat for us here because I can't say enough how excited I am about today's show, because these are truly two of the most influential and important people that we've ever had on in this platform. And I want to now give them, although my voice is pretty much shot at the moment, I am still going to have to give them that championship-like introduction, because after all, it is Sportswire Radio, and it's, well, this guy's helped build it. And, well, our champion here, well, she's definitely also helped build it because, well, she was around all those years ago, and she was, beating up on Shawn Jovi or teaming up with Shawn Jovi. We'll get into that. I think people have had enough of my introductions. The champion wants to hear it. She's here. Shawn Jovi, you are America's resident rock star, though you've lost one title, but you still got that title. But you're also America's, for now, vlogger, because Remi's a vlogger now, and she's definitely catching up on you in the vlog circuit. But for now, you are America's vlogger. You are America's cat dad. Yes, Stone Cold. You can certainly take a break for now on that. But let's give these two champions, let's give these two legends the introduction that they deserve. And plus, Remi Ravage, I've got something for you in a little while that I want to present to you for you being here for the first time on this platform. But enough. I digress. While I still have a voice, let's give these champions, who have definitely been a voice of the voiceless over the past decade and a half, that introduction that they deserve on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, sports show. He's America's resident rock star, America's vlogger, America's cat dad. He's the reigning, defending IMF United States champion, a Midwest backyard stalwart for WCE. He is the Shawn. And she is the reigning, defending XCW International Champion. She knows how to use light tubes. She knows how to use things we can't quite say on this platform, but you might be able to say it on somebody else's platform. Well, it's just an S and a W, but she is one of the legends of the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. Her name is simply put, The champs are here. Champs.
You have a voice anymore.
It's a lot of, to quote of one of my favorite Van Halen albums, a lot of unlawful carnal knowledge. What is understood doesn't need to be discussed. I don't know at this point, but it's a big one today because of just the history between you two, and also you were actually two of the standout champions in the backyard of the international circuit. So at this point, I mean, I just have to hope and pray. Maybe I'm living on a prayer right now, even though I'm more of a Van Halen fan, but you're more of a Bon Jovi fan. But I have to live on a prayer and keep the faith. I got to keep the faith with my voice to hopefully so it doesn't go on a lost highway, so I can bounce onto Sportswire Radio and get it bounced trampolines to talk with you two champs. So. How y'all doing today?
Excellent. Better now that I'm here.
I'm doing pretty. Yeah, I feel that. I'm doing pretty good. I'm hanging in there.
Well, all right. Well, definitely. Let's hope. I hope you're enjoying the weekend. I hope you enjoy being here on Sportswire for the first. I know we've been speaking for a while, and I think it's been for a couple months, and I was like, you're trying to get you on a couple different times. It didn't work out, but it's definitely worked here now, and I'm very happy to have the two of you here. I'll definitely put up some links. We'll put up some different things up here shortly. Mr. Jovi actually sent me a link, which I just have to be reminded to put back up. I will definitely take care of that. But as I asked to start things off, I mean, just talk about for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform you two have been a huge part of in all wrestling matters in Sportswire Radio. And how did you two reconnect to what's led to where you two are now practically, near the top of the backyard of the underground wrestling circuit? I think that's such a fascinating story for the audience.
It is. I'm not sure where it starts.
Shawn, do you want to take that, or do you want me to?
You might as well start because you're the one who reached out to me.
All right. So essentially, like I just had a moment in life. We can kind of touch on it more later, but
sure.
I essentially was just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what even is like the meaning of life? Like, what do I need to be doing? And those sorts of things. And for some reason in my mind, I was just like, I kind of miss wrestling. And I just basically one thing led to another. The first thing I did when I fully decided that I was going to come back is I reached out to Shawn. He was the first person I reached out to. And I had not spoken to anybody from the GBYWN days or anything like that for years. I mean, I had pretty much completely walked away from like all of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I didn't wrestle for 12 years. I didn't talk to any of the GBYWN people for pretty much the same amount of time. Like I pretty much just disappeared.
Wow.
But I just decided I wanted to come back, and I reached out to Shawn. Shawn kind of told me about XCW a little bit, and I was like, well, maybe, I don't know, like, I don't know if I'm ready. and all this stuff, and then Jackson Law. Shout out to Jackson, by the way.
I had Jackson on here 2 months ago. I know Jackson very well. Yes,
he's great. I
Yes.
love him, and I have a lot to thank him for, because essentially how it all kind of happened. He posted an advertisement looking for talent for CBW.
yes.
And I was like, do I go for it? Screw it. I'll go for it. So I just hit him up and replied to his ad, and we just started talking, and then one thing led to another, and then it was like, oh, cool, I'm going to be doing this CBW thing. That's great. And then at some point down the line, I had become friends with Fletch on Facebook. So I added, which Fletch, shout out to Fletch as well.
Yes.
He's a big reason why I'm here right now.
Absolutely.
But he ended up messaging me, and I guess somebody, my assumption, I think he might have told me, but I don't quite remember, but I believe somebody had canceled on one of their bookings, and he needs somebody like pretty much like last minute
At that moment.
like a week or two.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like maybe a week or two before the show or something like that.
Mhm.
And I just said, well, I've been watching some XCW. Like, it's a really good product. This is probably like one of the best places I could wrestle, especially considering how close to home it is for me. Like, I was just like, okay, like this is my chance. I got to go for it. So I said yes, and then I showed up and wrestled Hunter Halkin, and here we go.
I mean, phenomenal talent, by the way. Just in the main event of Summer Mania, it's been everybody on this platform. I've had a lot of the XCW talent here over the past year and change, and he's been like, has been really excited about it in the backyard and the underground for sure.
He's very, very talented, and he's an amazing person too. On top of it, like almost. Like, he doesn't get into any of the drama. He doesn't get into any of the bull crap. He's just there to wrestle and to do his best and to just try to improve, and also to help like get over XCW and just like, he's just great. I could sit here and talk about him for a while. Like, I really could. He's fantastic. He really is. And he's a really good person.
Well, I'm happy to hear that, but I want to hear more about the Remi Ravage story. So thank you for, kind of talking about that. I'll come back to that. But, Shawn Jovi, America's resident rock star. I mean, Remi was gone all this time. And did you ever wonder about Remi? I mean, Remi says, 12 years, right? 12 years before you returned this year. And you talked about the GBYW. And I know it'll come up, I'm sure, throughout the conversation. But did you ever wonder, America's resident rock star, like, where was Remi? And just, because you made your own comeback a few years ago. So go ahead.
Yeah, there was a few times I was like, what happened to Remi? What happened to Remi? Like, I think you deleted your Facebook, and I wasn't sure if you blocked me or deleted it. I was like, well,
watch on Jovi.
And I'm like, I have no way.
I didn't have a Facebook for a long time, and then
I had no way to contact you. Like, I didn't know if you were alive, you were dead, and you were hiding under my bed. You could have been anywhere. Like,
one better,
true.
With a steel horse I ride, huh?
Yeah, it's you could have been anywhere, and no one had known where to find you or how to contact you. But when you contacted me, I was like, what? It's crazy. Like, it was mind-blowing just to hear from you again. Now we're here. We're on Sportswire. Brightest lights, prime time spot.
Well, my lights aren't as bright today because it's 3:30 in the afternoon here in New York.
I don't know. It's just so wild how everything is like happened and played out. Like the last 4 or 5 months. Like, it's just
it's crazy.
It's an amazing story if you think about it, because you're the number 2 champion in a company like XCW that has a 20+ year legacy, really one of the longest running promotions in the backyard and underground wrestling history. And yes,
like not only just the backyard and the underground, but XCW has been running longer than most independent companies. Like, most independent companies don't last that long.
No,
the
for
fact
sure.
that that a backyard and underground fed can last that long and still have any sort of relevancy is phenomenal. I mean, shout out to XCW.
No. Listen, I mean to have the amount of talent that they have, and Chris Jones is here on Saturday, and Justin Parsley, I'm sure will be a topic at some point.
Chris is really good.
Chris is a great guy. I speak to Chris very regularly. Just a fantastic guy. I'm really excited. He hasn't been here in about almost 7 months. So the fact that he's here, he doesn't come here very often, and he'll have a lot to say. So it's good to have him here. Obviously you, but I was curious, Remi, for the audience in a sense, because it's really one of the greatest comeback stories in kind of wrestling history. I've interviewed guys that played in the major leagues. I interviewed a guy, Mark Gubazar, years ago, who was the broadcaster for Los Angeles Angels. He made a comeback. He was the comeback player of the year, runner-up one year. He was like, for 5 years, he just basically didn't pitch. He pitched maybe a handful of starts here and there, and he comes back and pitches. He led the American League in innings and starts when he came back. And you've kind of had that same deal in a sense that you come back. You don't just come back and have a match. You come back and wrestle for XCW. And after you come back for them, you have a hell of a series of matches with ACT, who ACT, for those that don't know, started the year as the XCW World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he started the year as the World Champion. And now you're the number 2 champion in that promotion. I mean, it's really like, I don't know if I could really think of, and I've been doing this for 6 years, and I don't know if I could think of somebody who just came in out of thin air and just all of a sudden now is the number 2 champion of a promotion that has a 20-plus year legacy. I mean, do you ever stop these last few weeks and say, I wrestled Shawn Jovi at Summer Bash. I wrestled in the IMF All Out Warfare in a live venue in front of people. We're in this crazy match with 2 rings, carnage in the ring, and in between it, oh, by the way, I just won the XCW International Championship from the guy that was the World Heavyweight Champion to start the year. It's really one of the greatest comeback stories in wrestling history. Do you stop and think and say, it's that? You want to talk about that?
I think about that like every day. I'm just like, I just think about like where I was just a few years ago. I mean, like I had a really bad like drug and alcohol problem.
I'm sorry.
So for 10 years, I was pretty much just killing myself. And just to think that where I was not even just like a year ago. I mean, I was sober by then, but I still wasn't right. You know what I mean? Like mentally, I just hadn't reset. I hadn't found my way because I pretty much had spent my entire adult life intoxicated. So it just like to think where I'm at now versus where I was is just unbelievably like mind blowing. I can't even begin to explain like how fortunate and how like lucky I am and just how thankful I am, because it's like all this stuff is like giving me that purpose again that I just desperately needed to get myself out of that rut that I was in for so long.
Could I ask you one question? I'll come back to Shawn Jovi. I know comments are starting to percolate a little bit. People are starting to tune in. Let me ask you one question. And I only ask this because you just said something that's very interesting. And I've never actually done a single drug in my life. Yes, the only drug I have is Mountain Dew in my cup right now. But I like to ask, for those that may watch this show, people that might see this on Instagram or TikTok, do you have any advice for people that go down and into the depths of drugs and alcohol? If you had any advice for them to kind of recover from that, is there anything you'd like to provide? Just because I feel almost in a sense the almost feeling duty for somebody out there that might be impacted by something like that. Do you have any advice for them to kind of get over it?
To be honest, for me, it was, I mean, I didn't really have much of a support system by this point. I mean, I had a few friends, and I was kind of a few family members. I wasn't very close with anybody anymore. So honestly, more or less, I kind of just, at some point, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need a change. And it was just like that weird switch in my brain just flipped. And I was like, You need to cut it out. Like you need to get your shit together, pull your fucking pants up, and fucking get your life together. Do something. Just live your life again. That's like one of the best things I can say. Like it's not. I know it sucks. Like getting sober really sucks because like you deal with like withdrawal and all that stuff, and that's not fun. You get really sick. And depending on what you're on, I mean, the withdrawals can technically kill you. That's why they tell people go to rehab. Go to the hospital if you need to. But yeah, you can technically die from withdrawals. So it's like, I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for that.
No, but
it was just like a switch just flipped, and I was just like, I can't do this.
Well, I'm glad you did it. I mean, I'm glad to have you here, champ. I mean, I think that's really, everybody handles it differently. I guess I felt an obligation to people that may watch this to hear your story. I just feel an obligation to have just asked that because you never know what people go through, and I obviously unlike some other shows that Big Man Cam is going on, a professional is professionally trained at this, and we don't ask about different things that go on other places, but I did feel an obligation to talk about that. Okay, so we'll come back to some of that. Let's talk about current events here. Let's go in a while because I always like to stay in the current. I don't like to talk about memory lane. Yeah, we'll come back to that, but I mean, you guys wrestle at Summer Bash. Let's go with Summer Bash here first. I mean, Summer Bash, that was a match. It was kind of in the making here. Mr. Jovi, you talked about it, I think about almost 2.5 months ago now, give or take. 2.5, 3 months ago. Yeah. And I'm going to put that up on the screen here shortly so we can get a chance to watch it. Let's obviously go and focus on the now. So, I mean, I'll go with you, Resident Rockstar first, America's Resident Rockstar. I mean, talk about the match that was over a decade in the making between you and Remi at Summer Bash, and just what was that experience like? Because I haven't got a chance, really, Shawn, to ask you that either on or off the air about wrestling Remi Ravage at Summer Bash.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm glad the match happened. It definitely needed to happen. We were 1-1 once upon a time, quite some time ago. But it was just reconnecting with Remi. I mean, it sparked something. Like, it got my brain clicking a little bit. I'm like, well, shoot, why don't we just have the third match? And what bigger place to do it than at the biggest super show of the year, Summer Bash? Like, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And hey, we got a lot of our old colleagues even comment and say how well we did and how, how we resemble GBYWN well. We showed them how it's done.
Well, that's good because of obviously you guys, were kind of the not to say the rejects. I mean, although I think you both have said that. I don't know if I'd like to say and put it in those terms, but it's still a good feeling. And for you, Remi, obviously, again, you have had some great moments for sure late, but what was that experience going to a super show like this? You talked about it when you answered Shawn Jovi on your vlog, and I'll put it up on your YouTube channel shortly. But just what was that experience like going here into Bremen, Ohio, and wrestling Shawn Jovi after plus, a decade plus and such? What was that experience like for you, champ?
It was literally just like going back to 2010 again. I mean, it was like the most euphoric, nostalgic thing that I had been a part of in so long. I mean, totally different people and stuff, but like it was pretty much the same exact vibe of like super shows that, Shawn and I used to go to, minus like, we had a ring. We usually didn't have a ring. We usually wrestled on what was called a base.
Yeah, those were some different times.
True. And I mean, the bases are fun. I like the bases.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't wrestle on one now, but
I do it one more time.
You seem like you want to do everything, Jovi, one more time. You want to go back on the trampoline? You want to go back on the base?
It'd be a shits and giggles thing.
I'm going to ask Rad Dad on Wednesday if he wants to come back on the trampoline. I'm going to ask Rad Dad. I'm not even going to talk to you about you. I'll ask him anyway. Maybe maybe he'll want to bounce Grimm's head off the trampoline instead. But that's a different conversation for a different time. But but I mean, just again, a wild experience. It was kind of one wild night. Well, it was more than one wild night. That's a Bon Jovi live album for those out there. But I mean, to have a match. I mean, I don't know if this is a fair statement. I know you had been in the ring before together, but did you feel like that you had to maybe plan the match beforehand? Was there a lot of planning, even though you had history with each other? I just think that's kind of fascinating for the audience. Do you guys want to talk about that for the audience?
I think we planned like one or two things, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a few little spots planned, and we kind of just like the senton, which they'll probably see that, but the senton was planned. The thing off the stage, I think, was planned too. I think we did plan that, but and then
everything else is kind of named natural, though.
Pretty much, yeah. I think there might have been like 3 or 4 spots, and I don't even think that we did one of them. So
yeah,
it's pretty much just we called it pretty much on the fly. We just kind of went with the flow, and honestly, I feel like it makes the match a lot of the time look more authentic and seem more real. Like you watch some of these guys like Ospreay and stuff like that, and they're amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you can tell that their stuff is just like super choreographed, and they've
some people
sat in the back for 5 hours and they're just like going over it and shit.
It's funny you said that. I was speaking with Remi Ravage, and of course, Remi, she is the reigning defending XCW International Champion, and Shawn Jovi is always here at this point. He's America's resident rock star. He's the IMF US Champion. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. But, Remi, you make this interesting point, because some people that have come on this platform over the years, because I've been doing this for 6 years, I've been covering wrestling for about 4, a lot of the British independent wrestlers that have made a home on Sportswire and so we're always about, you gotta plan it. You gotta make sure you talk about the match for hours. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. Then there are other people that say, you know what? Just go out there and call it in the ring. If you've been doing it for as long as you two have been doing it, then just the rest will sort itself out. I thought that was just kind of fascinating that you both kind of touched upon that. Just go out there and call it, except for a few things you might have focused on. Let me ask you then this follow-up question. When you guys had both wrestled over a decade ago, was the match planning different then than now because you had wrestled each other in the past? Or I'm just curious on that for the audience.
Shawn, do you remember if we planned? Yeah, because I don't remember.
I really don't. I mean, the 2 times we wrestled, one was in a base and the other one was on the ground. So,
no trampoline.
Yeah, that one. No, there was no trampoline for either of those. I had already transitioned out at that time.
No, that's too bad. But at least you both were in a ring now in beautiful Bremen, Ohio. Boy, and I think if I recall correctly, was this the day where it was like super humid there, right, in Bremen? Right, it was when you wrestled, right? It was like super humid that day, right? Is that when you wrestled this match?
Yeah,
How did that play into the factor of the match? It was like 1,000 degrees over there, and I'm sure the ring felt even hotter.
It wasn't as bad as I thought, but later in the day, it got bad. Like when I faced Isaiah Rage later in the broadcast, I was pretty gassed from just not only this match, but from the heat as well.
How did you hold up then, Remi, with this match? How was it for you in terms of that? How did you hold up with the weather and such?
So, like, during this time, like Shawn said, it really wasn't that terrible. Like, it was definitely hot. And by the end of the match, I was pretty spent. But it really got bad, like, later in the day when I was kind of just sitting and hanging out. And I was like, oh, God, it is uncomfortably warm now.
How is, Remi, let me ask you this question. Shawn, obviously, I would imagine, has changed as an in-ring. We see there's one swanton there. How is, for you, Remi, how has Shawn Jovi changed as an in-ring competitor from a decade ago? What have you seen and how he's changed, if at all, over the past decade?
I definitely, like, as far as, like, I have to comment on this. The tights and stuff and, like, the legging or the fuzzy leg warm I can't talk. My bad.
It's okay. It's all good. You
Like,
you got your
wise, I definitely like a lot of Shawn's like newer looks that he's doing now. The strikes are definitely like a lot better because I remember back in the day, I kind of helped Shawn a little bit with his strikes, which I'm still not. I wouldn't say that I'm great at mine per se, but like, I don't know, just the little stuff like that has like improved tremendously. And I think that just comes with like time, and that comes with age, and also like just overall wisdom, and just being able to like, because when you're a teenager and you're watching wrestling, it's I don't know, when you get older and wiser, you can dissect it more, you can understand it to an extent. At least that's been the case for me, because back in the day I could do all the flips and all the crazy bumps and stuff, but I had no character. I couldn't cut a promo. I couldn't, all that stuff. But just
how about that move, Remy? How about that move just there for the audience? That was definitely a move that I'm glad you connected there, champ.
Yeah. So that was actually a nod to a spot that we did in one of our matches at RCW. There's wrestling in Wisconsin, where I did the same thing off of a playground swing set.
Oh wow! Okay, that's wild.
So we planned. That was one of the planned spots, because I was like, I really want to get this in there. I'm kind of scared because I hadn't done a high flying spot like that in a long time. So it was very scary.
Yeah, this one was based off of me doing that flying clothesline off the baggage cart in my parents' yard.
Yep. Same match, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys must have played the backyard wrestling video game. You has to have played that video game.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think it came up on one of the shows here on Sportzwire, and I'm like, that you two must have played that game. It had to have played, because that was like order of my life when I watched Jovi's spot. Like, it had to have been from it.
Shout out to Nick Mondo.
There you go. For you, Shawn Jovi, America's resident rock star. Conversely, how has Remi Ravage changed in her comeback as a competitor from over a decade ago? What have you seen that Remi has changed as a competitor?
I feel like Remi has changed, well, more or less came back with a purpose. You didn't, like you said, you didn't know who you were, you didn't know what you were, you didn't know what you wanted to do, all those things, once upon a time. But now you kind of are older, you kind of understand the business more, and just like me, you kind of figured out your character and made it work.
Well, you definitely did.
Like, it took a long time for Shawn Jovi to be what Shawn Jovi has become now.
Well, last year at this time, I mean, listen, you were like, you didn't know where things were going. I mean, we obviously know the whole. I mean, you're wearing the Foundation shirt now, but you weren't Foundation at this time last year. You were not a Foundation.
I was about to be.
Well, but you weren't at the moment. I'm pretty sure. I think you might be right, though. You actually might be right around this time.
That was a reluctant thing too. Like, I was
very reluctant.
The Foundation thing, but it ended up benefiting me the most. Like,
well, that definitely, you've both become, well, figuratively, literally, the foundation of the platform and such. But I'm curious for you two on this question, and this obviously event, Summer Bash. It meant a lot to a lot of people. Did it make it extra special for you two to have had the third match in your series in an environment like this, where over a dozen companies in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit are here, and this was talked about on this platform for, I would say, really for about 9 months, basically. The planning of this, the preparation, to be in a ring like this, to be with, again, some of your peers. I mean, people from the very best in our circuit. I mean, Anthony Steele, D'Angelo LaFlame, Drake Golddragon, the Resurrection Wrestling World Champion, obviously all the IMF guys, Omen and Soldier, and again, the Midwest Express. I mean, just some great people. Obviously, Darkfire and also Nicholas Krentz, and just all the different talent that converged upon you. Big Man Cam, yes, Big Man Cam, but all the people that were a part of this, and just where you guys had this moment. Did it make it extra special for you two to have had this match here?
Oh yeah, for me, especially because I wouldn't have wanted it really any other way. Like, originally. Same. originally we were going to do a rubber match at XCW, and I would have been fine with that, but something about it being Summer Bash and everybody coming together and everybody doing their thing together as one community, like it just there was something.
It was the prime example.
It was just like a really special place to do something like this. And not to say that XCW isn't special, because it is, but a suit show is just different. I don't know how to explain it. You kind of have to experience it to understand.
And I would even say whether that match took place in the Palo Community Center or in Appleton, Wisconsin, or in Shelbyville, Indiana, it would have been great any of those three places. But I think to have taken place here because of your two's history in the Global Backyard Wrestling Network, and Rad Dad, when he was here the first time, I want to say about 5 months ago, five and a half months ago, talked about the Global Backyard Wrestling Network, and he kind of endorsed in a way this event and what's going on through here. I think it made for that much more of an importance maybe to have had this match here rather than, again, the companies that you work for or have been in, XCW, WCE, or IMF. So to have it here, again, with peers from all over the circuit, I think it had to have been here, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get it. You get exactly what I was trying to say.
It was an epic moment for
I'm happy it was an epic moment, but this is not epic right here. So I'll take this off the screen for now. I'll pause it here. Yeah. Oh, yes. He's definitely raging against the machine. We'll take that off. I want to put Remi's YouTube link up here for a second. But before we do that, let me get to some comments. A lot of people want to say, I want to thank my friend Ernest Dove, who shared the link on X, because I have like 100 people on X watching. So thank you very much, Ernest, for that. Ernest is, yes, we have a lot of people on X. I actually, people always think, just on YouTube. But no, we have the internet radio station, the link below that. We are simulcast on that. We're on X, we're on Twitch, we're on LinkedIn. Yes, for whatever reason, I have a LinkedIn account. I'd like to show all my, people that might be important in the world. Yes, I'm talking Backyard Underground Wrestling. Now, you can never hire me again for anything, but it's okay because I don't need the money. So it's always kind of fun to show people that I'm speaking to the most important people right now in front of me, Shawn, Jovi, and Remi Ravage, who are the IMF US and the XCW International Champions. Basically, their companies number 2 championships, but they are number 1 co-people here right now, and we're not bouncing off a trampoline while we're doing this. It's been having fun, Remi, the last few days with this trampoline stuff, but I'll move on. Let's get to the chat. Zilla's here as usual. How you doing, Zilla? Nice to see you. Soldier GP, where is everybody? Well, I just told you, they're on X watching us, but how you doing, Soldier?
Hi, Soldier.
Yes, how is Soldier doing? Yes, Soldier. Yes, hi there. Hello there. Jason Myers, who's become a regular in the chat. He's one half of the IMF Tag Team Champions, the Midwest Express. I haven't got a chance to ask you this question, Shawn. I think you read my mind. What is the Midwest Express done to have made them one of the premier tag teams, I'd say, in our circuit right now? What do you think that they've done?
I think, they've won the work, honestly. Like, they're young, they're impressive, they're talented. They got a bright future ahead of them. Like, Jason Myers is the future. Like, he says it, and he may not know exactly when the future is, but I know that kid's got a future. Jordan Ness, he's got a future.
Jordan Ness was the world champion in the IMF last year for a little while.
But I feel like he could even do more. Like, these kids, they have bright futures ahead of them. And I think IMF is just the beginning of it for them.
I agree. You want to say something, Remi?
Like Jones too, even.
And let me just say something.
Yes, you do.
If I can get Hunter to come out to IMF, that's been my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Jason versus Hunter.
Oh, wow! You want to talk about matches there? You want to talk about epic matches there? That would be one for the ages. And if you're here right now,
it so would. It'd be
If
so
you're
good.
here right now, also hit the sub button for Remi Ravage. I've given Remi 3 subs on YouTube. I've given the PWF YouTube page a sub for Remi's page, Promo Wrestling Federation page, and the Sportswire page. So please support those that support us. Remi's been so important to us here the last few months. We're so happy, Remi. She's finally made it to the platform. So please go out there and hit the sub button for her on YouTube. She's got some vlogs. She's definitely working her way up the vlog circuit to soon be America's vlogger and take that title away from Shawn. I'm only kidding. But obviously, let's move on to comments before Shawn Jovi decides to cannonball me. Some people, Jake Matthews wants to bounce me off a trampoline. Shawn Jovi will want to cannonball me if I say those things. But let's go here. Yes, Hunter is a good wrestler. I won't spend too much time on this individual for now, but this is one of the individuals who's on a trampoline who wants to bounce off a trampoline and certainly bounce Shawn into a coffin and put the nail in it while he's doing it. That is Nolan Money McDermott. Surprised Shawn Jovi decided to come on Sportswire after last time. Only a matter of time. These trampoliners, these young whippersnappers, these invaders who want to basically make sure that these Midwest backyard stalwarts like Shawn Jovi and his friends they're going to be dinosaurs roaming the earth. I mean, I don't want to ask you about that, Robert. It's a celebratory day. I have to present to you something in a few minutes, so let me not ruin the mood, because Nolan Money McDermott and his friends, including Tyler Fury, ruined or tried to ruin Shawn Jovi and WC's historic day, and we don't want this to happen to you, Remi, today, so let's move on.
I'm just glad it's not his bedtime right now, so he can actually tune in and watch.
4:16. Well, it should be like, I think 4:16. You should be at work right now, right? I mean, part-time job. I mean, there's no school today, right? Do kids get part-time jobs these days? I don't know, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. How's it going? 4 up, 4 down. Yes, 4 up, 4 down. And yes, congratulations, Remi. We're very happy about that. And no matter what you said, it is an inspiring story, because people do struggle with those things. You know, we talk about it all the time on Sportswire. There are everyday issues that people go through. So it was important to hear your story. And some people do say I am a talk show host. And I did feel like I was channeling an inner Montel Williams or an inner Phil Donahue, God rest his soul, not too long ago. And, you know, Ricky Lake and Jerry Springer, who also, God rest his soul. But we're not going to be the Montel Williams. That was when Silver Wolf and Loose Cannon were here and Tyler Hart. But Xavier Thorne. So we're moving away from Montel Williams and getting more to other people who can talk. Joshua Allen, he is the owner and founder of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, and he says evening, but it's afternoon. But it's okay. It's Mr. Allen, so I'll give him a pass, because he's upset that Atomic Titans. I'll tell you why he said evening, because he's upset that Atomic Titans back on Sportswire next Wednesday. So that's why he's saying that evening rather than afternoon. The biggest party of the summer it was, and it's still going, and it's going to go next year as well. Very excited about that. Hello, Roo Riders from Northeast Florida. And speaking of people who I think this might be somebody related to, well, the XCW champion, but I'll keep the name separate, but there is an XCW champion out there. Remi, may I ask, what do you think of the XCW champion currently, Eric Mason, if you don't mind me asking?
To be honest, we don't talk as much as I talked to some of the other people in XCW, but anytime that I've talked to him and the times that I've worked with him, he's been great. He's been totally he's really chill. He's really respectful.
Yes.
I don't know. I think he's a great champion. Plus he's got good size to him and everything. He's very believable.
A long way. I had him on Sportswire about 9 months ago, and he's come a long way from that. And I know he's coming back onto Sportswire this month, because we spoke actually about it. So I was really happy, because we were going to bring him on before the match with Hunter, but things kind of happened, and I really like him a lot. He's just a fantastic talent, great guy, and also he's a big card collector. He actually has a card business. He does collectibles. So if you when you guys
not know that.
When you have the Shawn Jovi and Remi Ravage, Topps trading cards, and he'll probably sell them at his collectible store. So then, but make sure you both give him the autograph. I'm only goofing. He's the XCW champion. We'll not go there, because I don't want him to beat me up next.
I'll check out his cards.
Yeah, it's on Instagram. Hello there from Stray Cat 69. My mother's here. I don't know why. She's probably just wanting to I don't know, just tune in.
It's my friend.
How you doing there? Yes. I don't know why she's here, but she's here. Maybe she's had nothing else to do. But no, actually, I would think that she's very happy to be here because we've got two of the biggest standouts in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. So she's definitely not here for you. For me, she's definitely here for you two, though. I can tell you that much. She's definitely here to watch you two because obviously she just saw what you both do in the ring. She definitely is seeing your work, and she doesn't want to see me. She's sick and tired of seeing me. She probably want you two to be on Sportswire. Maybe that's how it gets you 1,000 subscribers. Maybe it's the Remi and Shawn show. It shouldn't be me at this point. I should just move on and find something else to do. I don't know. Maybe go back and. Yeah, maybe go and find something else to do, whatever it might be. But maybe I should go to Burger King, flip burgers at Burger King, have it your way. But maybe you two should take over. But yeah, she's very happy. Thank you very much for tuning in for now. I'm sure she'll have a few things to say. That's what I'm looking forward to in my future. I would love for Hunter to come to my territory. Two of the very best in the circuit. Yes, champ. There you go.
I was pointing at Jason's comment. That's all.
Oh, okay, good deal.
He already knows. He knows
Yes.
that Hunter would tear it up.
Hunter Halkin is a standout in XCW, which is obviously Explosive Championship Wrestling in Shelbyville, Indiana. Speaking of people who heard their name say his name, he appears. Atomic Titan, who used to be a hardcore king. I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Atomic Titan, but he was my hardcore king, but now he's just Atomic Titan, and he'll be back on Sportswire next Wednesday. But who knows? Maybe you'll meet him one day. I don't know. Maybe you'll meet him. Who knows? But let's Godzilla. I faced Hunter. Yes. Did you face him? Was it Encounters? If I'm not mistaken, there was a bunch of IMF.
Really?
Yeah, at Encounters. Yeah, there was It was a bunch of people. Jack Delta was even at Encounters. It was interesting. Aaron Blaze was in XCW. Well, he was in XCW before Encounters, but there was actually a bunch of people for a while that were in XCW. It was a bunch of people, and Shawn Jovi missed it. He missed the cutoff.
Yeah, I mean, I just came back into the scene, so I didn't even know that Jason and Hunter already wrestled.
There was a bunch. Yeah, actually, if I'm not mistaken, the Midwest Express. I think the Midwest Express is the episode. I think the Midwest Express are on, and the real one in the Foundation wrestle that is the most viewed Encounters episode that they had. Because what they had was after the season into this season, they were in the St. Paul's Gym. I think you've been in the St. Paul's Gym. Yeah. And in the St. Paul's Gym, they basically had for about 3 months kind of a bridge. Think of it like as a bridge between last season and this season, and that's what Encounters was. It was Jack Delta was there, Aaron Blaze was there, a lot of the IMF talent were there. So it was just a kind of almost a patch job of just getting from last season to this season. So that's kind of the explanation. I'll let Zilla ask this one. I have a question for Remi Ravage. I love and like your attire. So where did your inspiration come from your attire and for your gimmick?
Thank you. I appreciate that. So essentially, I mean, I've always been really into like punk and just like punk fashion in general. And that's more or less what this is. But I wanted to try to do something that was also like punk, but not super like grungy or like gutter.
You weren't going with the Sex Pistols. You weren't going with the Clash. You weren't going with the.
It was more like I just wanted to be like. Huh?
No, I was just. You got cut off, but go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I think I'm lagged a bit or something.
You've lagged a little bit, but I'll make up for it. But go ahead, continue.
But yeah, no, just I wanted it to be cute, but I also wanted it to look like badass at the same time. So that was kind of a lot of the inspiration. I also get like inspiration from a lot of like indie wrestlers that I like to watch. Kylie Alexa from NWA, like I really like her gear. Erica Demia is another one. I really like her gear a lot. I don't know. I just try to gain inspiration mostly from a lot of wrestlers, and then maybe just like stuff that I like. And that's mostly it. That's a
good question, actually. Zilla would have actually.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
A good question, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know? I actually know this guy pretty well. He's been here a couple times. Michael Christian. Do you remember Michael Christian being in a ring with Michael Christian, who used to be Festus's stepson, but he's not Festus's stepson anymore? But you know Michael Christian very well.
Yeah, I do. Michael and we talk pretty regularly.
Yep.
And we have wrestled before, and it was great. You know, it was for Vortex, and they were just like, you know,
Yep.
go out there just 7-8 minutes, and he just went out there and killed it. And
I saw the match. Yeah, he also wrestled some guy named Justin Parsley, who everybody says, you know, who the F is Justin Parsley, and what would Justin Parsley do? Well, but Michael, you know, he's had a big back and forth with this guy, Justin Parsley. Remi, you seem to know Justin Parsley. You seem to have had been in some car rides with Justin Parsley.
Yeah, so like Parsley and I, like, we have a really interesting relationship because we just understand each other. I don't know how else to explain it.
Maybe you understand Justin Parsley more than Rob Slater does.
Accurate.
I mean, you guys said it, not me.
I know. Well, Mr. Parsley is going to be here tomorrow. I'm sure he'll bang me over the head on that. Maybe he'll give me a code breaker like he did to Jeff. But you can continue, Remi.
But no, Parsley's great. I like being around him a lot, and like just also the car ride to IMF was fun, like really fun. We just had a great time. We just laughed the entire way. It was great. I really like Parsley. He's a really, really good person, and he's also really good in the ring. I love.
Oh, I'm aware of. Yes, yeah. He's actually.
I love watching him wrestle.
He's the PWF champion, which I actually own 1/3 of the PWF, and that I'm sure upsets some people here, but I own 1/3 of it, and he's my champion. So yes, Mr. Parsley is an interesting individual. Yes, for sure, he is definitely that. I'm going to come back to XCW here in a few minutes, but I want to get to comments, and I want to. I think it's a good time for me to present to you something. So let me do that shortly. Encounters, yes, the Encounters was. It ran for about 2 months. It was in the St. Paul's gym, and we talked a lot about Tommy Merriman was a big part of it. It was DJ Walbert was on those shows. A lot of different talents. Again, you just missed a lot of them. You just missed them, but that's okay. We'll come back to it. There's a lot of other talent we're going to get to here shortly. Got to share. Yes, thank you. I don't remember leaving the ring, and well. You got to remember to leave in the ring because you're here on Sportswire with us. So you had to remember leaving the ring. You're on with us. And Michael's been here a couple of times. Michael has certainly given Justin Parsley his own. Some people actually say, Remi, that Michael Christian in some ways is part of the reason why Justin Parsley has changed dramatically. Justin Parsley, once upon a time, was happy-go-lucky. He was happy to be one half of the XCW Tag Team Champions with the Essential One, Rob Slater, and they were battling the Foundation. And all of a sudden, right around the time you came into XCW, champ, that Justin Parsley, to some people, snapped, and it was the real Justin Parsley that's come out. I don't know if that's to be accurate or not. I'll let the people decide, but that's what some people say. But I think it's a good time for me to present to you something. We're about halfway through the show, and I still have a number of different things to get to. So we'll actually take this. Well, actually, before I do that, let's put together the All Wrestling Matters Discord chat here. So we're on Discord, and Shawn Jovi wanted me to promote it. So we're on Discord. I'm actually on a bunch of Discord groups, but this is Discord here. So if you'd like to join the All Wrestling Matters Discord group, this is what it looks like. I would hope that you go out there and support it. Shawn Jovi's got something to post on Facebook. I can't view Facebook on the laptop, but that's for different reasons here. But this is the All Wrestling Matters Sportswire channel. You can also check out here some of the things that I have to offer. I'm in a bunch of groups on Discord, but you can also check out Summer Bash. You can also check out here the GBYWN history, and how about that? There's some stuff there, and ICW Shawn Jovi showing us some stuff, and Deja Vu, and some stuff there from Golden Triangle Media. I know, Mr. Jovi, there's somebody out there you'd like me to speak to, and I promise we'll make
That's the guy.
the next.
That's the guy.
I know, and you have been. You want to cannonball me for not bringing him on yet. Yep, there you go. And I know we're going to get him on here. There he is, and a lot of footage there. So if you're on Discord, please join the All Wrestling Matters Discord group. I'll be putting it up throughout the shows. James Taylor is here later this evening, and I'll make sure to promote that because James Taylor always promotes James Taylor, and he'll have a lot of people tuned in like we are today. So it'll be a good time to check that out. So please support our friends on Discord, All Wrestling Matters, and you can also check us here. Oh, by the way, the Promo Wrestling Federation chat. That's because I own the Promo Wrestling Federation page, which I don't even know promoing. I don't know 2K Gaming, but I do own this, and eventually it'll get it'll get up and running one day. But these guys in the Promo Wrestling Federation probably want to kill me. They probably want to cannonball me. They probably want to put me out there and do a few things. But you can do a number of different things through it. You can see information. I'm going to take this off the screen for now because I can't really see. But I think it's a good time. Remi, I'd like to present to you something. I think I should have it here in front of my computer. I definitely have it now. So only if you insist, Remi, I have something I'd like to present to you. We're very honored to have you here today, champ. We appreciate your comeback. We appreciate your story. And I think only if you insist, though, I'd like to present to you something on the screen that would recognize the importance of you being here on Sportswire Radio. Do you say yes or no? Because I like to put the thing on the screen now.
Oh, yes. I thought you were going to put it on the screen first.
I was actually waiting for you. I was a couple of the can you just put it up and such? But I think it's a good time. Now, here it is. Well, we're waiting for it to load up. There we go. Thank you. The technology, and sometimes you want a cannonball. Maybe bouncing off a trampoline. But it is Remi Ravage Day here. Congratulations, champ. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do for us and everything that you've been a part of here on this platform and just really its formations. And on this date, September 1st, 2024, on all Sportswire radio platforms is Remi Ravage Day. That includes YouTube right now. That includes Twitch. That includes LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Tumblr. Yes, I'm on Tumblr. It includes all places you see us. Instagram, TikTok. I'm on TikTok. So, Remi, I'll make sure to give this to you when we're off the air. And I actually worked extra on this one for my signature because Shawn Jovi's gotten a bunch of these at this point. He's an expert on these, and he goes back to when mine were like chicken scratch. Now, my mother could probably attest to my writing being a chicken scratch, well, because she gave birth to me, but also she's seen me sign checks, which is not a pretty thing, right, to see me sign checks. That's why I don't like to give people checks. I like to give people cash because, signing checks, my writing looks like chicken scratch, but that's okay. I've got those problems. But the good news is for you, Remi, I've improved my handwriting over the past several months, which I should have basically done when I was in the 4th and 5th grade when I was in college, but that's okay. I've done pretty well in life, and I think you've done pretty well in your comeback here, and I'm going to give you this one off the. I think that's one of my best signatures to date, to tell you the truth. I think it's actually one of my best ones.
That's good.
Well, I'll make sure you have it. Justin Parsley, though, he's got the most of them. He's actually a 4-time, going on 5-time Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. He's got some other certificates, but he's Justin Parsley. You're Remi Ravage. You have a day, and I'm going to make sure that you get this here very soon when we're off the air. Let me get to some comments, though. And Mr. Darkron himself, he was the man that hosted Summer Bash. Well, the man that I'm also a shirt that you guys were responsible for giving me says, afternoon, ladies and gents. And anything you want to say, Remi, about Mr. Darkron, who was the host of the Summer Bash event? Anything you want to say about Darkron?
Really, really nice guy. Was just super gracious and just a really good host. And like, just really everybody there. Like at Summer Bash was cool.
That was good. Yeah, they were
Except
all cool.
For, that one. Except for that one. Can we even say his name, Shawn?
Oh,
or will he call about it?
No. Let's move on. You're not talking about Skippy the Evil Clown, so let's move on.
Yeah, Skippy the. No, well, okay, yeah.
Well, I thought, yeah.
Skippy's actually my PWF champion, my Promo Wrestling Federation champion. But I know that was a name that some people were like, but I think I know who you're talking about. But the other name, we'll move on. Yes, we'll definitely move on. I know exactly the name. I got you. Definitely, I got you on that. But somebody who was cool was Il Drago, the Samoan Dragon, who was here. And I love Il Drago, another up-and-coming talent. And for Drago. Hi to Remi. How your Usos doing? Yeah, well, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Congratulations, Remi, for everything. Yes, we want to thank you, Remi, and we definitely want to get you in the Sportswire Hall of Fame very soon. We definitely like to have you in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully, you'd accept the. We like to. Why not? Why? You're the XCW International Champion. I mean, yeah. Well, we'll make it happen. Well, I'm sure Fletch will enjoy that. But off the air story. But we'll move on from that. Check out Remi's YouTube. I will put Remi's YouTube again. Thank you for that. Yes, we definitely want Remi's vlogs to be put up, and I will make sure that's back up on the screen. It was awesome. Yes, it definitely was awesome. Okay, so maybe I'll take this off the screen. Yep. Yeah. Thank you, Darkron. Thank you very much. So we're going to take this. Well, keep it up for a minute or two before I transition. So I think here's a good time to talk about the Global Backyard Wrestling Network for a few minutes, because I have to talk about that with you too. Because Rad Dad is here Wednesday night, and he's going into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And obviously, Rad Dad means a lot to the two of you. Rad Dad has meant a lot to me over the past 6 or 7 months. I want to thank Shawn, obviously, for obviously with some of the things with Rad Dad. Jimmy Controversy, I really want to thank as well for his thing. If you need to want to take a timeout, Remi, you're welcome to take a timeout here in a minute. You're welcome to do that, and I'll let Shawn speak about this while you have a timeout, a in-ring timeout. So go take care of what you have to do. But Shawn, obviously, Rad Dad is going to be here next Wednesday. Rad Dad's going to be in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And just talk about just the importance of Summer Bash with Rad Dad and what we hope to expect from Rad Dad being here Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
So I'd like to explain a little bit of history with Rad Dad. For those who really don't know, Tom Bryce is basically the Rad Hazard of our generation. He's the man who has the news. He's the man with all the answers. He's the man who interviews people and promotes their business. Once upon a time, Rad Hazard had Backyard Wrestling Weekly, and that show was popping every week with
You wanted me to do it, but we basically have it here every day.
Yeah, the problem is it's just like I have my hands in so many cookie jars.
We have everybody here every day at this point. I mean, it's what it
exactly. It's like I don't think I need to make it because you're already doing it. Cover every backyard fed that in the All Wrestling Matters umbrella. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't it? Why it wouldn't make sense to have a new show and your show?
Well, I mean, we can have at this point. I need to keep a voice, but Rad Dad was definitely a voice of the voiceless. No question about that. He's definitely done a lot. Obviously, wrestling the Rock and Roll Express. Obviously, his feud with Grimm over the past several months. I mean, just really, it's a great honor to have him here in the Hall of Fame, and it's great to have connected with him. Copper Dragon as well was a part of the GBYWN, very influential in that, and to have Rad here. And there you are, champ. Good to see you, champ. Obviously, you had that timeout, wanted to give you that rest hold, that rest break in the ring so you could come back and transition. But I was wondering, because I know Shawn has spoken a lot about Rad Dad, but he's going to be here Wednesday night and go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And I mean, what were your memories of Rad Hazard? What was the relationship, if there was any, with Rad Hazard those years ago when you both were in the GBYWN?
We cut out there. I didn't hear
So what I asked was, with the GBYWN with Rad Hazard at the time, what was their relationship with you two then? And was there what was he like those years ago, and seeing his career evolve, where he went from being a host to now being a guy that, wrestled Grimm and GTS, wrestled the Rock and Roll Express? I mean, just talk about all these years and how he's evolved, and what was he like back then?
So the first time I actually met Rad, I think, was at ICW Midwest Extravagant. Yeah, I think it was Midwest One.
Yeah, we were all there.
And like, I don't know, Rad and I were never super duper close. Like, we were acquaintances, and I mean, I respected him. I'd like to think he respected me too, but we just weren't really like that close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've always had a lot of respect for Rad, and to see where he is now compared to then is like literally unbelievable, because it's like GTS is like what, technically one of the top wrestling promotions in the
number 7. World. It's number 7. It's actually the 7th biggest wrestling company. It's number 7.
Yeah, like that's insane. Like when you really think about it.
Yeah, 1.5 million subs, and they get 40,000 views a week on their shows. Yeah. And Rad Dad was he was their number 2 champion, and he was feuding with Grimm. I mean, that shows you how far. But I'm curious on this question, and you both have referred to yourselves as being GBYWN rejects. Now, why was that? I'm just curious for the audience, not, just because why did you both feel that you were GBYWN rejects all those years ago? Why was that?
Do you want to go first, Shawn?
Yeah, sure. So my case, I think, was, I mean, people can bash on the guy all he wants, Silver Wolf, but I was kind of like him once upon a time. I was stubborn. I thought I knew what I was doing. Sadly, I was wrong. I made a lot of mistakes and just I got shit for it. Like, let's just be fair. Like it was kind of like everyone picking on Silverwolf while everyone was picking on Shawn, and because I didn't make the right choices, the right decisions for the backyard scene. I was kind of a crybaby on the forums about it, like, stuff people would get bullied for in general, well, for like on the internet. So yeah, that's kind of what it was for me. Obviously, I grew from that, made me better, and now I'm back stronger than ever with a better purpose in life. But that was part of why, and I didn't really have the ability, the wrestling ability. I had the potential, but I didn't have a way to unlock it yet. If that makes sense.
Was it the same story for you, Remi, or was it different?
To some extent, yeah. I mean, I was kind of a shithead. I'll admit it, but I mean, what 17, 18-year-old kid isn't kind of a shithead? You know what I mean?
I'm still a shithead. My mother was here in the chat. I'm still a shithead.
I don't think Shawn and I
probably.
I don't think Shawn and I were any more shitheads than any of the other GBYWN guys were. But the thing the people that are familiar with GBYWN and like some of like the greats from that era, they were all like so freaking good.
It's true. Like we had a lot of talent.
You would not even believe really did. I mean, an absurd amount. Like GCW Backyard 1 and 2. Yeah, half of those guys are GBYWN guys.
And not just that, like Matt Nix, who was our GBYWN champion once upon a time, he was on Dynamite wrestling Cody in a squash match a long time ago.
And it really wasn't even that much of a squash.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's not like he just like totally wouldn't got
or like Alex Zane,
get married.
He's running rampant New Japan.
He has his own meal at Taco Bell.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Well, listen, Copper Dragon and GWC Intensity, Skrilla, Peanut Butter Falcon, and was just did a run MLW. Fred Yehai's wrestled a whole bunch of WWE guys, and so yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of talent in that GBYWN field that went out and had some really successful careers, whether they were high-level independents or, borderline, I don't know what the right term is, enhancement talents or whatever you might want to call those things. Fred Yehai had a lot of success as a name that comes up on this platform. But, yeah, I mean, there's no question that the GBYWN meant a lot. But does it then make it extra rewarding for you two now? Is Shawn, Jovi, you said we're now in the new age of it. I mean, that's obviously up to be determined. I'm sure Rad Dad will speak a little bit about this further Wednesday. I feel I'll probably talk to him more about this than GTS, just because this is probably an environment that Rad will be appreciated more. I think that's why he's requested to come back. But does it make it extra rewarding for you two then, as we're watching one of Remi's vlogs here at Summer Mania, where Remi had maybe the biggest moment of Remi's career to date? But, I mean, was it maybe extra rewarding for you guys now then to be near the top after what you just told us here in this, I guess, new dawn of the GBYWN, for whatever you want to call it?
I mean, one of the reasons why the All Wrestling Matters movement started in my mind was because I wanted something like GBYWN to come back. I wanted a place where wrestlers could network and grow and do it, but do it the right way. Do it better than what we did before us, And I think we've done a phenomenal job of it between you and myself and everyone else involved.
Yeah, but a lot of great people that it takes a village, right? It takes a lot of people that they've worked really hard.
Up a city from the ground. It's incredible. It really is.
No,
Really,
that's not ketchup packet there, right, Remy?
Absolutely not.
ketchup required.
You will never, ever see me use fake blood.
We actually had this as a topic a couple of months ago. I'll make you laugh, Remy. Atomic Titan, who was in the chat, was the hardcore king, and he was the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling hardcore champion for the better part of this entire year. And we would have a lot of these hardcore wrestlers come on. Jimmy Controversy, Mikey Anarchy, Kato, Jesse Daniels, a bunch of these different hardcore wrestlers. Hardcore, Obey. And we would kind of have a running joke about, wrestlers that might put ketchup packets to show they were blood. And these individuals who, again, have wrestled, Carnage Cup and IWA Deep South, and Jimmy Controversy is a well-mentioned name, obviously, throughout the hardcore circuit. Tarzan Duran does some of it as well. And it would come up that they don't use ketchup packets or put their, art project pastel paint on and to show that they're bleeding. And I thought that you would appreciate the same, because you definitely against ACT didn't put on some, ketchup packets to show you were not really bleeding, but you were.
Absolutely would never, ever, ever do that.
What got you into vlogging, by the way? I mean, obviously, I know you're going to become America's vlogger here by the time the year is out. But what made you, Remy, want to document, I guess, everything that you've been going through the last couple of months? What was that process like?
To be honest, I used to vlog a lot, when I was a teenager and stuff, and I hadn't done it in a long time, and I was like, well, I'm starting this channel. What am I even going to do with my channel? Because I didn't even really know what I was going to put on there other than matches. So I just kind of decided well, I think it'd be cool to do vlogs. I don't want to make it the whole focus of my channel. I just want it to be a small little part, but all this stuff has just been happening back to back, Summer Bash and Summer Mania. First time in IMS.
It's crazy. You were in part of two of the biggest shows of the summer. If you think about it, you went back to back. You went Summer Bash, and then you filmed at the end of the month, right? You did basically a month later, practically Summer Mania. You went back to back. It wasn't like there was a layoff. It was boom, boom. I mean, that's very. Yeah. And then you did the biker show too in between, right? You had the biker show, right? So you were even that thrown in there.
I did not wrestle that show because I was dealing with an injury, but I did film that entire show,
right?
All the matches and stuff like that.
And there's something there that we're not going to talk about here on Sportswire, with all due respect, because we are a family station here on Sportswire, because we actually get pros and other people to come on here. And I'm sure that on Silver Wolf's channel, he might actually talk about that and how he would feel. And Big Man Cam will give a presentation about it in a different way. But on this platform, we actually have, I think, the best on the biggest and brightest stages here in prime time. So we are not going to allude to what that was. Well, yes, we can laugh about what it was or what Remy might be alluding to. That might be, but on this platform, we're not going to acknowledge that. But we do obviously say that whatever it might be, obviously it's what Remy has used to be successful.
It's a summer sausage.
Well, I mean, listen, as I would continue to state that, let's go and talk about just, Remy, being a part of such a big roster at XCW. What is that like? I mean, XCW's roster is bigger than maybe in some cases, AEW or MLW's roster. I mean, there's 30, 35 people on the XCW roster. What's that been like? What's it been like?
It is a very big dysfunctional family.
I could see. I mean, I knew that I've had about half of them on Sportswire over the past year. That I knew already, but I could definitely see even further from that on this vlog.
But I mean, honestly, a lot of them are really good people.
Yep.
I really don't have. Yeah, I really don't have much to say about anybody in a negative way. You know what I mean? As far as XCW goes, but. Nah, pretty much everybody there's been cool to me, and I'm just happy. I really am, but it is really crazy because our roster is really big.
No, it's really if you think about in the backyard and underground circuit, I think that of all the companies that we have come on here, and this is a quantitative fact, XCW has the biggest roster. I think that there's. DBW in XCW's counterpart, more in Maryland in the Northeast area, although they're almost exclusively now an indoor venue. Yes, and we see what that is. But again, we are a family station on Sportswire, so you can go in Silverwolf's show and he'll give you the play-by-play and tell you what he liked about that. But on Sportswire, we've had on again Dean Allmark, who wrestled in TNA here, so he happens to be a fan of Sportswire. So who trained Tony Storm? So you're not going to get that analysis here. But what I will say is that XCW has, by and large, the biggest roster, and it's a very interesting thing to be a part of. And you're the number 2 champion for that company. What does that mean to you then to be the XCW International Champion?
It still doesn't feel real. Like, in a way, like, I don't know how to explain it, because I mean, we touched on it a little bit earlier. Like, the fact that I'm even where I'm at right now, the fact that I'm even wrestling again is a miracle in itself. And to think I'm excelling in any sort of way, and being given like the just that push or whatever is just, it still blows my mind. I'm just extremely grateful and thankful to Fletch and also to Dale and Jovi, because those 3 people were definitely the 3 that like really got me back here. Like, they're the reason I'm on Sportswire today for sure.
We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, because without Fletch giving me that opportunity, without me kind of bridging the gap with Dale, because Dale wrestles for XCW too. So,
yes, I'm aware. I've had him on about 4 times. Like, I know.
Yeah. But no, those 3 people, they're the reason I'm here for sure.
And to be the number 2 champion two-way, right? You're not just here and you're just wrestling and having a few matches. Like, you're the number 2 champion, and you won it on a show that is their biggest show of the year. That's an amazing accomplishment. That's really a testament to just you, I think, to, never give. Was there ever a time that you thought your wrestling career was over?
Oh yeah, years ago. I had, when I quit at 19, there was, drugs and all that stuff was definitely a factor, but I was also like being bullied a lot and stuff like that for being queer and stuff like that. I didn't like that. And I was just kind of over all of it. And I was just like, you know what, I'm done. And by the time I quit, my drug and alcohol use was pretty bad. So I probably wouldn't have been able to do it much longer anyway, because I was just getting too messed up all the time.
So the drugs were more of the issue rather than what the comments were, because it was taking a toll on you physically as well.
Yeah, for sure. But no, the mental stuff for sure with people making those comments. Yeah, it definitely did. It definitely affected me, because I came up in the yard, and you would think that like those people that you come up with in an environment like this, you think that they would be your friend and like have your best.
Yeah, because in the yard, I always in the yard there's more of an underdog mentality. Everybody's like on the same team, so you would have thought that there would have been more of like, okay, we're on the same team. I've interviewed people overseas in the UK, and there's been in the British independent wrestling scene, there has been a lot of that, queer and transgendered type things, and they tend to be very supportive in many cases in the independent circuit overseas. So I would have thought in the yard, and again, I don't know, I'm not a wrestler, but I would have thought in the yard it would have been a more supportive system, because there's more of a community in the backyard circuit. So I think I could see where you're coming from in that sense.
Yeah, and it just wasn't. That's the one thing I appreciate about the scene now versus the scene then, because the GBYWN era, it was a community. We were friends and we were all kind of there for each other, but there was a lot of stuff like that would happen that really just doesn't happen near as much anymore. Because I think I've only had a couple of instances where I really thought somebody was actually trying to disrespect me. in XCW. There's maybe like 1 or 2 instances, but that's literally been it. And pretty
Okay.
much it's
Well, we
like,
don't tolerate that on Sportswire. I can tell you that much. We want everybody to be here. We believe in that. Everybody should be given an opportunity where all wrestling matters, and we don't condone that. But we will though not talk about the show with the Silver Wolf things, but we will definitely though not condone any of that stuff. But what is ACT like as a competitor? I've had ACT on in the past. He was the world champion. I put up some of the match here for a little bit, and I know there's a few comments. I'll definitely get to him. But what was he like as a competitor?
Well, one thing I can really say about ACT that I like really respect, he is so freaking good at like doing what we call like ring generaling. So he is so good at like, especially in like multi-man matches and stuff. He's good at like calling spots and keeping the flow going and doing all that. Like he's so good at that. I mean, just that type of stuff about him is what really sets him apart from me. Is like if I'm in the ring with him and I get lost at any point or a botch happens or something, he's gonna be right there to hold my hand and get me out of it.
How different is he of a competitor versus Jovi? Well, how different is he a competitor compared to Jovi?
So if you look at Shawn and you look at ACT, they're a similar build, but they wrestle.
Yes, they are similar.
But they wrestle totally different.
Absolutely, yes.
In a lot of ways. ACT's just very hard-hitting striker, really lays it in.
He's like a meat and potatoes wrestler. He's like more of a thrower back. Jovi's more of a, I'm going to throw your back into me with the cannonball.
Yeah, Jovi is insanely athletic for his size, and I've told him that for a long time.
Yeah, Copper has mentioned that when I think Copper has done the TikTok reviews. Even Copper's talked about that. Yeah,
it's insane.
7-star suicide dive at Winter Clash.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Is that the one I'm thinking of? Where I remember commenting and I was just like, "Holy shit!"
It might have been the one.
Went flying.
It was from the first IMF show. That was my best dive.
Okay, yes, that was the one. I know which one you're talking about.
That was the one actually. Jackson Law was on actually, or him as Dale, but that was Jackson Law's appearance on the show.
The DOA I did
dive
got a
was
7-star spot score too, Remi.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it was in the review.
Oh, damn!
Oh, it was kind of cool.
I didn't go all the way through the Copper Dragon review. I feel bad if Copper Dragon is watching. I'm sorry.
No, he's not watching because he's actually probably getting ready for the next series of matches because he actually put on TikTok that he's getting to everybody. He's gonna watch your match and review. So Copper actually he's okay. I actually subscribe and I donate to the Patreon page, so he's okay with us on Sportswire. But we love Copper and we know that Copper is actually probably reviewing maybe your match at Summer Bash with Jovi as we speak. He might be, who knows? But he's definitely not watching because he's got more important things to do from his vantage point. But what's the preparation like, Remi, versus this with ACT, the stuff you did here versus the Jovi match? Is there a different preparation from, let's say, a few weeks later here in Shelbyville versus what we saw in Bremen?
To be honest, not really. Like ACT and I really didn't plan much of this. Essentially, the one thing that we were kind of like, okay, well, we know the finish. We really didn't even have that much of a beginning at all or anything. It was pretty much, we just won the whole thing and we're just like, well, let's just beat the crap out of each other with weapons. No, it was going to get a lot more violent, but here's a little behind the scenes look here.
Hold back the curtain moment.
But Steve-O, the referee, love him to death.
Yes, I know. He was on commentary last year. I know Steve-O.
But he told us no more glass. So I couldn't go get my light tubes. There was a point in the match I was going to go get like 15 more light tubes and bring him into the ring. But unfortunately, somebody had communicated to Steve-O, hey, tell them no more glass on the outside. Well, Steve-O heard it as no more glass. So this match was going to get a lot more violent, to say the least.
Oh, wow. Well,
but
wow.
You know, for what it is, I was super happy with it, and I was totally fine with it. And honestly, it was probably for the best anyway.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fascinating here. Let me get to some comments while we're watching some of the match. People seem to be enjoying themselves. Craven Rage, who, for I guess a slight detour, Shawn, Jovi, and him are sort of on the same side when it comes to those trampoliners. But I'm gonna not talk about those trampoliners too much because I don't want a trampoline on this historic episode. But hello, Reverend Tom Bryce. Hello, Shawn Jovi, our American resident rock star. Hello, Champ Remi. Congratulations on your huge success and your award. It would be a great honor to have Remi in WCE. Remi, I mean, what do you think about that? WCE in Appleton, Wisconsin. I mean, what have you been approached by that? I mean, what do you think on WCE?
Yeah, we've Craven and I have talked and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've talked to Shawn about it too. I mean, I've told him I'm down to like come out for sure, but we just have to figure out like a plan and figure out like what we're doing and that sort of thing. Because I don't know if I want to come out there and just like, I don't know, just wrestle somebody with no plan. But we'll see. We'll see. It's definitely been talked about for sure.
Well, how about you and Shawn wrestling one more time again? Wouldn't that be something that would be meaningful?
It would, but I mean, do I think Shawn and I, if we brought it back again, do I think that we could do better than the match we had at Summer Bash? I think so, especially if we waited like a year or something and we, started, we grew that much more, maybe it'll happen. I don't know. But if it doesn't, never say never. That's how I see it.
Okay. All right. Well, by the way, some hell of a work here. I mean, some of this. I mean, I saw it when it was live, when it aired last Thursday, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. I know I'm very excited to ask Chris Jones about you because I was talking with Chris off the air. He was really excited to talk a little bit about the show itself, and he said that was really impressed by some of the things you did in this match, as a lot of us are. Yes, love you, Remi. Yes, we love Remi as well, and got things to do. Yes, we love Michael. Michael has been a favorite on the platform, and he does Twitch streams as well. He twitches as well, and I have a twitch in my eye, so I'll move on. Yes, hi, thank you, Ozilla. I'm trying a career at stand-up comedy, not quite working. C Money, by the way, very impressive talent in ROW. He's defeated Atomic Titan. He just lost to Justin Parsley, a man you share a locker room with, and he says hello. The great state of Michigan. Our friends in Michigan say hello. We love Michigan. Thank you, Zilla, for the words. Appreciate that. Going to move on. Jovi is one of my toughest challenges, and differently, it's respect. Why does Copper Dragon not like Soldier GPs? Is there a rating this year, or am I something personally? Copper Dragon likes everybody. He's not Rad Dad. He likes everybody. His official position, I like everybody, and I don't get him. You thought I liked everybody. He legitimately likes everybody. But speaking of, what's that?
I think it was because there was a production issue, and that was on me. So like, it kind of Soldier's salty about it because it didn't really involve his match.
Oh, I see. I understand. Well,
it was because he rates the production stuff too, and I think he said this would have been. Like
yes, he does talk about that. Well,
but because he said was like 5.9.
Has Copper spoke to Soldier? Has there been a conversation? I mean, is it something I could do? I
have no idea.
I mean, I'll mention it when Dad's here. Copper will be tuning into that one. I'll guarantee you. He'll be tuning in. He liked my post on TikTok about it, so I'll definitely mention. I am a Patreon subscriber.
I'll be here too.
Well, I'm sure you will. But, maybe you both will be. Maybe we'll let you both say hello to Rad Dad. Who knows? But Jake Dvorak is here. Jake is one of my favorites. Jake loves trampoline wrestling. He's a big trampoline wrestling fan. He loves the trampoline. He loves trampoline wrestling so much. He has a company in Worcester, Massachusetts called NEW Underground Wrestling. They were here yesterday, and Jake, instead of having a show next year called The Riot in the Ring and the Best in the Yard, he might just have a trampoline event, maybe the best of the trampoline, maybe trampoline bounce. Maybe it'll be a trampoline bash. Maybe that's what Jake's going to do in his set. But yeah, he's not going to do that. But he wants to bounce me off a trampoline. But Jake is the NEW champion, and he's here with us. You should meet Jake one day, Remi. You'd fit in very well in his company.
So I think I'm allowed to talk about it. I don't know.
Okay. You can say anything you want.
But I think the date's 11/17. I'm planning to go out to NEW.
Oh wow, thank you for. I'm sure we'll just say I never heard that.
And yeah, it's been kind of. I mean, it's literally we practically just kind of set it up. But I'm gonna be wrestling. I'm gonna be wrestling Rhea, and I
knew that was happening. I knew
it
that.
Had to.
You and Rhea makes sense.
There's no way. There's no way that if she were to come here, or I were to go there, there's no way that we weren't wrestling. I mean,
Rhea, by the way, I was going to say, Rhea is definitely hardcore, and you won the championship there. Congratulations. But, I mean, you definitely do a lot, and you're definitely hardcore. But, I mean, I've seen the stuff that Rhea has done with Jake, and Rhea definitely, she gets at it. I mean, she's definitely right up there. It's going to be a heck of a match. But I'll pretend I never heard it, though. But I'll pretend I never heard about it.
It's going to be a hardcore match, too.
Oh, I'm sure of that. I've seen Rhea's work. I've had Rhea on here with the group in the Worcester, Massachusetts. Yeah, they definitely. But it won't be on a trampoline. I can assure you that you won't be wrestling on a trampoline there because that's
Not
just
me.
kind of.
No.
We've been having a lot of fun with this because there's this whole thing about trampoline and non-trampoline. Some people take it one way, other people take it another way, but it's fun. I'm having fun with it, but I can tell you we had a lot of fun watching this match. I'm going to take this off the screen for now because we appreciate that. But obviously, yeah, we'll see what happens there. I know Justin Parsley seems to have had some sort of conversation with Jake on Instagram, and I'll leave that at that. But yes, he said his house is going to be a bouncy house. So we appreciate that. Thank you, Jake, for letting us know his house in Worcester is bouncy. But, I guess then I want to ask you this question, Remi, because you've talked about some things on Facebook about the future and maybe doing different things and upcoming. What are your goals coming up? What is the future like for Remi Ravage? You've got the XCW International title. You and Jovi have had this match. You guys wrestled together at Carnage in the Wreck, but what's the future for Remi Ravage?
Honestly, to make up for lost time, mostly. And that's kind of vague. But so essentially what I want to do, and this is, we'll just have to see what happens, but I would like to go to wrestling school. I'm planning on, I have a list of about 10 to 15 of them. They're all literally top of the line, best schools in the country. Some of them are like ROW, RWA, OVW.
OVW, definitely. It's a good one.
Just to name a few, those are the type of schools that I'm going to try to get into. And I'd like to get in next year. That's the goal.
Wow, I hope you make it. I really hope that.
Then at that point, I mean,
I said, hope you make it. I said, hope
so yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. But yeah, I do want to go back to the indies, but at the same time, like, I'm still gonna be around. Like, I'm not gonna be one of these fucking losers that, they go pro and then they just start crapping on the backyard and the underground and all that. I'm not.
That's like 90% of Wisconsin right there.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of circuit though together. It's a lot of the people all together. I mean, I've probably had on more pro wrestlers than backyarders and undergrounders because I did so much overseas, and I think that's by and large. But I think because Remi, everything you've went through, if it all works out next year, I think that you'll never forget where you come from. You'll always appreciate because of your just it's an amazing comeback. we were talking about Julian Voigt Jacobs. What a comeback! Wins his first world title in 7 years. Yeah, it was great, but really, your comeback in like the real grand scheme of things, it's an amazing comeback. I mean, it's really in wrestling history to be gone for a decade. To just, I mean, Shawn's been on the platform for over 2 years, and I never heard your name or anything mentioned about you. We've talked about ICW here and there, and I mean, just never seen any of it really. I just had never, really. Yep.
So
Yes.
about that, most of my footage from back then is gone.
Why?
Unfortunately. It's because like I did wrestle for ICW a little bit, but I was a very brief part-timer. They were about like 30 minutes away from me, but I wrestled for a company called Collision Championship Wrestling, and literally all of them went from the yard to the pros. So basically the entire CCW roster, they're all on the indie circuit now, except for me, or they're retired. And essentially the indies, they don't like yarders, so they pretty much deleted all of our footage off the internet. So the indie companies that they try to get booked for or whatever won't find their yarder stuff. So like the vast majority of my stuff doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately.
Well, we still have a lot of stuff that we can still see, at least with Summer Bash and Carnage in the Wreck, and we see all that stuff out there. We have a comment, which I'm going to say thank you for the comment, but we're going to move on. This is not Silver Wolf's podcast, so that comment can go in the dustbin. So thank you for that. We appreciate the comment. But I do want to ask you a few more things before we move on. I didn't say my house is a bouncy house. The Super Show is going to be in a bouncy house. Thank you for that. Thank you, Jake, for clarifying, because I thought you might want to bounce off a trampoline there. Carnage in the Wreck. You wrestled Carnage in the Wreck. Is that a one-time thing for you, Remi, or would you like to go back to the Palo Community Center? What's your
I'm going back to IMF. Absolutely, yeah. Jovi and I have some plans, but we'll
leave it at that. Thank you for being, appreciating that. I appreciate that you just left it at that, because people.
Isn't that right, Shawn?
Appreciate that. Thank you very much for letting us know on that. But okay, so I got that out of the way. I mean, so I guess I'll ask you that a few more things. If you had one or two moments in your career, Remi, that stand out most, what would they be? I always ask this question to people that come on the first time. I feel like you've had such a fascinating journey. I mean, I'm sure there's many, but I was wondering one or two. If you had one or two, what stands out most?
For me, I mean, honestly, the match at Summer Bash with Shawn, like if we're talking like present day, that was the match that definitely meant like the most to me, without a doubt. It was like, I don't know, something about it was just so special, and to think like, I don't know, we never ever in a million years, especially me, I never would have thought that I would have ever wrestled again, let alone wrestled Shawn again. So to do that literally like 13 years later is just.
It's amazing. What a story. I mean, Remi, I know people that say, oh, well, it's just amazing. Just everything you two have gone through, especially you, Remi, just everything you've went through, personal life. You talked about being, bullied, and, you talked about drugs and alcohol, and you talked about just so many things you went through. But here you are, and you're on top. It's just, really, what an amazing, inspirational journey for people to see that you didn't give up. A decade plus you were gone, but you're here, and it's just, you're making the most of it. You talked about even going to a wrestling school, and you talk about other things, and it's just really very inspirational, and I hope that you continue on this path. And if you'd like to hit that sub button for Remi, please support Remi on YouTube at Remi Ravage. Please, that's their YouTube page. Please support Remi. I can't stress it. Let's support those, especially that have gone out there and just the journey that Remi has had. What an absolute honor to have Remi here. And it's also Remi Ravage Day here on Sportswire Radio. Congratulations, Remi. Thank you, Remi, for all you do for us. And Hillbilly Tilly always says it. true wrestlers like Remi Ravage go out there and put their blood, sweat, and tears out there. We can't thank you enough for everything that you do. I'll make sure when we're off the air that I'll email this to you so you have the physical copy so you can get more of these like Justin Parsley. Maybe you have more than Justin Parsley. So we'll certainly leave that at that. But, you two both have something else in common before I get to a few final things, is that you've both wrestled Big Man Cam. And Big Man Cam is a rather interesting figure. He seems to spend more time these days on some other podcasts, and he seems to have his own interesting personal beliefs and such on some other things. But what was it like wrestling Big Man Cam? And you wrestled him when he was the CBW champion not too long ago. What was that like?
I enjoyed the match. Unfortunately, he had something bothering him in the match, so we had to cut it short. But I had a good time wrestling him, and I do want to wrestle him again. Now that he's back and healthy, I would love to.
Well, I would love to see that. Yes, you did wrestle him, and yes, he does have his certainly ways about doing things. But for you, Remi, you wrestled Remi also. Remi, you also wrestled Big Man Cam not too long ago. What was it like wrestling Big Man Cam?
It was great. I really like him, especially as a person. He's really fun to be around. Just really nice, just really sweet guy. But he is really fun to wrestle too, because I like wrestling like the bigger guys because it kind of lets me do more like my high flying stuff that I tend to like to do, but I don't know. Sometimes I just don't get the opportunity. It kind of just depends on the match and who I'm wrestling and all that. But like sometimes with some of these bigger guys, it's a lot more fun.
Yes,
and plus it's good. Plus it's like good storytelling stuff too, because it's like the David versus Goliath kind of story, and that's telling a story. You want to tell a story when you're wrestling. It's not just going in there and doing moves. And I just feel like wrestling bigger guys gives me like an easy story to tell.
Definitely that for sure, and that was their most recent match. But definitely you'll see Big Man Cam out there very soon. And also, if you want to follow Remi is on Facebook as well. Shawn Jovi is out there, and I look forward to seeing more with you two. All right, so let me go with this as we get ready to end the show very soon. For you, Shawn Jovi, is there anything that you'd like to say to Remi before we move on? Anything in particular or anything? It's a really important moment to have you two here. I think the magnitude of the history and just everything to have been able to now have these special moments in the ring. But is there anything, Shawn, that you'd like to say to Remi before we move on to close the show soon?
I'm very proud of you and how far you've come after coming back. I still think it's surreal that like we're on here right now together. Like you said best 5-6 months ago, I would never guessed anything would be happening like this. Like when you messaged me out of the blue, I was like, "Holy crap!" Like my mind was blown. I was telling everybody I know, I'm like, "Hey, Remi messaged me. Holy crap!" And they're like, "Who?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, none of you guys know her." Still, I'm excited. Like I had to explain the whole story.
Well, this generation doesn't know a lot of the things. It's like we had Jacob Frost on a few weeks ago, who 5 years ago or so was like a huge deal in the backyard. The MEBW, and he was, that was kind of in many ways at the tail end or just after the GBYWN. And this generation, like the IMF crowd and the WC ears and some of these other people, ROEWers, they don't really know Jacob Frost. So, like, he doesn't connect to some people because they don't know the history, but he's a pretty big deal. And I think in some ways it's similar with your two's history with the GBYWN and just everything that you've went through. Then to be able to be here, I think it's a story of never giving up. It's a story of just never saying never. It's just anything's possible. Anything, we think about sports all the time, right? George Foreman years ago won the heavyweight title in boxing, and he quit boxing for a decade. He just had a coming to Jesus moment, really, and he wound up just going out of boxing. He just wasn't going to do it, but he went through some financial problems, some hard times, and he came back and eventually won the heavyweight championship. And Remi, it's obviously a totally different story than George Foreman, but it's similar in the sense that you were out of this circuit for over a decade, and there was just no telling. You told us today some of the things you went through with drugs and just dealing with personal demons from people saying things which are, very unfortunate, but you're here and you're just about on top. You're the number 2 champion. You won that championship at their biggest show of the year. And it's a story really of never giving up and just, if you believe in it and you want to go out there and do it, you can do it. And I think that that's the story today from whatever people can take away from it. I think that's the story. And Remi, before we close the show, is there any advice or anything that you want to say to people that you think that people might want to hear in a sense?
Well, definitely never give up, but also understand that it doesn't really matter what you've been through or how old you are or who you are or whatever. If you apply yourself and you if you really want something, you have to go for it, period. And end of discussion. And whatever you have to do to get yourself right. I had to get rid of my smartphone. I got rid of my smartphone because I would just doom scroll on Facebook forever. And plus having your phone always attached to you, always looking at it like that, it's not good for you. It's not good for you, So I got rid of my smartphone, and there's all kinds of just little things I've done. I changed my diet and all kinds of stuff. I used to deal with a lot of depression and anxiety and stuff, and there's just so many little things that I've changed that have improved it, my life so much. It's just absurd. So don't be afraid to try to eat better, or to try to stop drinking, or to try to stop drinking soda or whatever. Which
unfortunately I need soda to keep me awake because
yeah, that's the one vice I still have is caffeine, and obviously I smoke. But
that's okay.
Other than that, I'm eating fruit, and I'm eating salads and protein shakes, and I'm doing all that stuff.
Well, you do so much in the ring. I'll tell you what. I mean, what you do in the ring, I just have all the, respect for what you do, especially with some of the stuff we saw today with Jovi and ACT. Obviously, Carnage in the Wreck, and just what you do in the ring. So whatever you're doing, it's working, and I just want to see more of it. And I think the people should want to see more of it. And I want people to follow you on YouTube. I know you're on Facebook, but I really don't post to Facebook because it's personal pages. But I will say that we definitely don't want to see you bounce off a trampoline. We want to see you stay in the ring and bounce off the ring, because obviously we know Jovi's been dealing with these, young guys, these trampoliners. But I think Jovi for another day. Well, I think we'll leave it at that with those. Obviously, I know that there's, these youngins, and they've obviously these young whippersnappers who want to take Jovi and his cohorts in Wisconsin to obviously more or less, I guess, extinct them or put the nail in the coffin. But for now, we'll leave that at that. But I really want people to follow Remi, and just really just an amazing story. And I just really rooting for you so much to go out and do what you want to do and have that chance to go indie. You make me think of also Kid Bandit. I'm sure you're familiar with. I actually have a connection with Kid Bandit because
yes. Oh my god.
Well, I have a personal connection.
Oh my god.
Well, Kid Bandit's tag team partner Ishmael Vaughn, when they were starting out, this was over 3 years ago, I interviewed Ishmael Vaughn. So Kid Bandit was a pretty big topic then, but now Kid Bandit's probably become a lot bigger, and I don't even think Kid Bandit would remember me. But there are stories of inspiration. Rhea Silver. I mean, Rhea Silver has been just amazing. Just killing it, and definitely.
Great.
I've had Rhea Silver here on Sportzwire, so I've seen it, up close. Definitely phenomenal talent, phenomenal human being, and we're all pulling for you. I can't wait to have you here in the Hall of Fame very soon. And I know Rad Dad will definitely. I will be saying a few things about you to Mr. Rad Dad, Mr. Rad Hazard, and hopefully he will have no hazard signs on when he comes back to Sportswire on Wednesday. Trying career stand-up comedy. I mean, I definitely won't ask you too much anymore about Justin Parsley and his car driving skills, because he got his own problems to worry about and a bunch of other things he's got focused on. But so happy to have you here. I think it's time to pass the baton to both of you guys to sign off for the afternoon now and going into evening. I'll go first with Shawn Jovi, America's resident rock star for now, America's vlogger. Mr. Jovi, I pass the baton to you. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say, and take it away.
Thanks for having me, Tom. Thanks, Remi, for being here. Make sure you go on my Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Get a hold of me to get on the Discord if you don't see the link up here. I'll definitely message it to you. I want to try and get that and the community going. Posting footage, leave feedback on other people's footage. I want to see a community grow. So, and I think Discord is not a bad staple for networking, especially in terms of this. Like, if you guys post a show, be sure to post it on that page too, because then anyone else that's on there, I got like 40 people so far, which isn't so bad. They can take a look at it too. And some of them aren't just All Wrestling Matters people. Some of those people on there are people I knew once upon a time from back in the day. Like, it's a mix of backyarders past and present. So let's make this community grow.
Absolutely. No, listen, absolutely. And I want to do one more special thing before I pass Remi for Remi's closing thoughts, is that Shawn Jovi right now, if you're out there, go hit the sub button for him, because he's one subscriber away from 750. So he's at 749. So if you're out there right now, there's a bunch of you. Is there a bunch of you out there? Let's get him to 750. He's at 749 for crying out loud. So let's get him to 750. He's going to get to 1,000. I'll tell you what. When he gets to 1,000, I'll induct him in the Hall of Fame for another time. So he's going to get there. He's at 749. I remember when he was at like 350. I think I met you. You were like 340 or like 350. Now you're at 749. Yeah, you're going to get there. You're going to get there. So if you're out there, go hit the sub button for Shawn Jovi. I'd really appreciate that. And we'll definitely see you here more. Again, that's his sub button. I see people are popping up on YouTube. So if you haven't yet, hit the sub button. He's at 749 subs. So I want him at 750 by today, and then you can say thank Remi Ravage later. But Remi, I'm going to pass the baton to you. What an honor it has been to have you here. I want you here anytime you want. I definitely want to put you in the Hall of Fame next time. I will pretend I never heard anything about bouncing into Massachusetts. I definitely very much looking forward to watching you, though, here coming up at XCW. XCW returns this Thursday, I know. Very much exciting for the second half of the season to see what happens. And I know you'll be a topic with Mr. Parsley tomorrow, depending on the mood he's in. Also with, as well, Mr. Jones on Saturday. But until then, I pass the baton to you. Anything else you'd like to plug, share, or say, Remi? Please take it away.
Shout out to Shawn Jovi first and foremost. Just thank you for everything. Just thank you for giving me that wonderful match at Summer Bash, and just, pretty much just taking me, as your friend again and all that. Like, I really appreciate
taking us down
everything
memory lane. Like, yeah, of course. That's what friends are for.
That's the song. That's what friends are for.
And then shout out to Fletch.
Yes.
And shout out to Jackson Law as well. Them two are a big reason why I'm here right now. And they're good people. They really are. And let's see what else. I have a Facebook, Remi Ravage. You can just look me up.
I can actually put it right here, actually. No,
yeah.
That doesn't come up.
Works.
But it's right in here in the YouTube channel. So if you go like this, there we go. That's the magic of technology. That's the link. Sorry about that.
Hopefully that's not my page that I deleted. It probably is, but if it is, it's whatever. I'll change it eventually. But I'm on Facebook and YouTube. And shout out to Solja and Omen, IMF Peoples. Thanks for having me recently. That was awesome, and I'm definitely gonna go back for sure. And then do I say it? Yeah, I say it. Fuck Silverwolf.
Well, you certainly had, I'm sure, an interesting moment there. That was definitely
you know all about it.
I heard about it. We're families. I was definitely heard about it. I would definitely say that we are a family station on Sportswire. Obviously, you have obviously some valid, legitimate reasons toward that, and I'll obviously keep that off the air. Or if you know, you know. But yes, I've heard about it. But obviously, I am going to say I am gonna do my best, Montel Williams. I am gonna do my best, Phil Donahue. I am gonna do my best, Ricky Lake, and those other talk show hosts of yesterday, and basically say we're going to move on from that and try to basically work the conversation there. And Justin Parsley seems to have, I don't know what type of thing he's trying to get into, but he says sounds like a treat. And yeah, Mr. Parsley had something there to say, and Soul just basically said what you said with a laugh, but I'm going to leave that at that because that's obviously. We'll leave that at that. This is, you can definitely say that on other shows, but on this show, I like to say that we'll definitely keep it PG, we'll keep it PC, we'll keep it clean. But I know one thing. No. Listen, you can say whatever you want. I can't say anything about it. I can't really endorse the comment, but I can certainly endorse you coming back to Sportsfire Radio anytime you like. And I certainly want to endorse today on this wonderful day, beautiful day here in beautiful New York City, September the 1st, 2024. It is Remi Ravage Day on all Sportsfire Radio platforms. And joining me for that is Mr. Shawn Jovi, America's resident rock star. He is the IMF U.S. champion. And Remi Ravage is also the XCW International champion. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally all wrestling matters. And I'll be back here a little after 10 o'clock Eastern time. Yes, I'm going to do it again with James Taylor, who I'm sure Justin Parsley knows a little bit about. He is the owner of REW. And I'm here tomorrow. I'm going to try to bounce off a trampoline tomorrow because I'm here at 4 o'clock Eastern time with Maxwell Reeves, who is a Ben Salem Championship wrestler on the trampoline. So I might do this on the trampoline. Maybe I'm not. But until then, I'll be back here in a little while. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support. Please support Remi Ravage. Support all of our great wrestlers out there that have been here. And until then, I usually say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But I don't have to say that because I'm going to be here in a few hours. But go out and hit the sub button for Remi. Hit the sub button for Shawn Jovi. Shawn needs one more to 750, so go out and support him. If you'd like to support me, that's fine too. But until then, thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I really hope that you enjoyed this really, really so inspirational, so cool show here on Sportsfire Radio. And until then, thank you so much. Also, thank you to everybody on X. 115 people out there watching right now. So thank you for your support. And I'll see everybody here in a little while on Sportsfire Radio with another one. Go to